Hello and welcome to True Audio with Johnnie Truesdale. This is episode 13, Routing MIDI. A lot of comparisons with MIDI and Pro Tools and programs like Logic and Ableton. And while there are certain features that are really great about Ableton and Logic when it comes to MIDI, there are a lot of really great things you can do with MIDI in Pro Tools. I think it's all in how you use the tools. And I don't think it's a disadvantage to work with MIDI in Pro Tools at all. So this episode this week is going to be about routing MIDI and different ways that you can do it in Pro Tools to change your workflow or just audition different types of tracks. So without further ado, here's episode 13. Alright, here we are in Pro Tools. So what I have is I have some MIDI tracks set up, and I'll explain how this is actually working in a bit. And then I have a couple virtual instrument tracks. I have an expand track, which all of you have because it comes default with Pro Tools. And then I have Contact to show you that you could use other virtual instruments and do the same thing. So first thing here is I have an instrument track, and then I put a piano part on that instrument track. When you bring up Expand 2, it'll bring up this default setting, bright pads beneath the waves. So what you can have on Expand is you can have up to 4 different instruments going at the same time in one instance of Expand, and it uses less resources on your computer. Those of you who are working mobile on laptops, etc., this will definitely help with having too many virtual instruments and your computer having issues. But I'm going to show you also how you can audition different things using one plugin, and it's actually a fairly quick workflow. Now, if you just put the track on the virtual instrument track here, if you put this MIDI track on the virtual instrument track, it'll just play the first one here. So if I play it here, but I don't necessarily want that, okay? That's not what I want. I want to hear these different parts that I got. I just put in some different ones. This isn't by no means any specific thing. So if I get rid of that track and I mute it, and then I take them and I put them on separate tracks. Now I have these two are on separate tracks here, and then I have two. These are like some bass notes that are from the MIDI as well. You can have them all on separate tracks. So let me show you how I route them here. You come out and it'll come out of Expand, and there's 4 channels in Expand, okay? And it'll be Expand 1 because this is the first instance of Expand on the tracks. And it comes out channel 1 and it goes to this channel 1 over here. So channel 1 here goes to this channel 1 over here. Channel 2 goes to this channel 2. Channel 3 goes to this channel 3, and channel 4 goes to this channel 4. So they all have their own channels now. So each of these MIDI parts will play on a separate channel with a separate patch on each thing. So let me show you how this works when I'm playing from these MIDI over to this virtual instrument. This is not even needed at this point. Okay, so it's a little crazy. The mix is all over the place. I told you there wasn't anything special. But what you can do is you can go in and let's say, well, I want that to be more bassy, that instrument. So I can go in and I can transpose it down a couple octaves. So what I could do is take a look and see, I could see where that specifically is. And you can see that's kind of up there. So let's take it down. Let's go down 4 octaves. Okay? So go down 4 octaves, and that takes us down here now. So now let's see what that's sitting at. Now it's like really low. You know, you could come back and you can take it up an octave really quickly. So what I'm getting at here is that even though, like I said, this doesn't sound particularly great, but the idea is that you can audition different things. So that you could see that this one is going to 2, so that's the grand piano right here, and then this is the it's called Glock Gliss Up, and you can solo any of these. If you don't like them, go over to Event Operations here. You could say, well, maybe it'd be better if this was one more octave up. Take it back down. Maybe it'd be better if it was 1 octave down. Okay, so you can go 1 octave down. Check it out. Hear how it sounds with the piano. If the levels aren't working right, you can lower the level of this. You could take this, move it over to the left. Maybe move this over to the right. You get what I'm... You should understand what I'm getting at here, is that you can use this to kind of check out different instruments and use one instance of the plugin. So let me show you one more thing, and before I go here, we'll do the same thing with Contact. So I'll bring up this instance of Contact I have, and I have 2 instruments in here. I have a shaker and I have an upright piano. So what I can do to check to just use this MIDI again is I could just go right over here. I can go to Contact Channel 1, which takes me to this right here, and I can go over here to Contact Channel 2, which sends it over to here. Okay, I have these soloed, and this solo, I need to solo save this right here, but you'll hear what's sending them over to 2 specific virtual instruments inside a Contact. So you can see what you can do with different virtual instruments, and you can adjust the volumes between them and so forth and so on. So that's all I got for this week. I hope this makes sense, and this is a different way of routing things. You could also do this with drums as well. So if you want individual drums on their own tracks, you can do the exact same thing. Most of those drum ones like Slate and Easy Drummer will do the same thing. So until next week, that's all I got. See you next week.